Hello, it's me, Mac, back once again with another indie game. And welcome back to Modulus. We tried to demo this out maybe back over about a year ago, I think, close to it. The devs reached out, let us know, hey, we've got a new demo coming out for Steam Next Fest in February. Would you like to try it? I said yes. If you don't know what this game is, it is a kind of a factory automation city builder mix. It's just casual, free play. There's no concern. It's extremely casual. But it does have an interesting mix of kind of building buildings, but you're building buildings with like these unique blocks that you have to kind of configure, similar to like shapes and those types of games there. So let's get into it. New game. Okay, this is a game. So I've chosen to skip the tutorial. I know enough about this one to just dive in. But basically, you start in this kind of cool futuristic world. It's on these big plateaus, which seem like they used to be like buildings or maybe or something along those lines. But in any case, we start with one. We're going to be able to expand out into others later on. So you can see you can purchase these out. We have to pass a few objectives first and reach new ranks, and we'll get options to build out into those spaces. But this game starts off pretty cool. So there's this little depot over here. We got to send some stuff over here to get paid. We don't need money. We don't need to get paid that way. But, in order to progress the game, this is what we need to feed. So we've got this delivery dock. It wants us to make some basic bots, and it wants us to make some gray dashboard data shards and deliver those over here. The way we do that is by taking these poly rocks and grabbing them from the ground. They are unlimited, and we change these into actual blocks, and then we use those blocks to shape things and build buildings. So you got all the controls down at the bottom, so pretty classic layout down here, and then you've got some nice quality of life features. So I believe they've added a few features in terms of like some of those quality of life and how those work, and a few different elements have been updated since the last time we played. But I think the game works most of the same way as it did previously. So the cool thing down here is you're going to have all these buildings. So you've got these buildings here, and let me just plop one down. And what happens here is you've got this building. Initially, you got to build it. So in order to build this building, I have to design these blocks. So I have to put together a block that looks like that. And I can pin all this stuff up on the side here so that it's available to me. But I need to build these blocks, 24 and 48 of them, to first build this building. Once the building is built, it's going to continue to feed those shapes to use to manufacture something, and later on to upgrade. And we're going to turn these into like little skyscrapers as they move through the game. They're going to get more powerful and build more stuff and do all that kind of stuff. So we'll leave that there for now, and then we'll find a good spot to start off, because the first thing we have to do is grab some of these blocks and start manufacturing. So maybe we'll start over here for now. There's no like good or bad way to do this as far as I can tell. In the previous demo, I experimented with a few different things, like, starting one building in one corner and kind of maximizing that, and then building another building in the other corner. I think this we'll probably do here and just kind of bring things together in the center as needed. We can expand as we go along. So the first thing we've got to do is go to this little tab, which is all of our kind of manufacturing tools. And we're going to start creating an extractor or a miner for these. So we create some miners like so. I can move this. Actually going to just click this one and just redirect it. It's really good. These don't cost anything. Nothing costs anything. It only costs stuff to actually build these and make them useful. So you're not using any materials per se to get these things going, but the tracks all work nice. And then once we are mining in here, we get these little kind of crude blocks to come out. I'm not sure what the ratio is. I'm not going to go too much into the math or anything like that. I'm going to set up like 4 of these and have the 4 of these come out somewhere over here, and we'll probably get the other one set up as well too. What we need to do to turn these into usable blocks is we need to burn them. So we're going to put a furnace in here, and I think what we'll do is we'll actually split this stuff up. I think we can probably support 2 furnaces with these 4, probably. So we can add a furnace there, and then we can hit T, and that's going to update that to go the other direction, so we can make this nice and hopefully efficient. But that is going to make us some blocks. So this is how they start. So they first start as like this kind of Rubik's Cube looking thing, 4x4. by 4. And we need to then, as I mentioned, convert it into these. So you see this one's 4 by 2, or sorry, so it's a 2 by 4 by 8, right? So we got 2 this way, 4 this way, and 8 this way. So we need to make this thing. So this is where the game gets kind of cool, and similar to some of the other games like shapes and stuff like that. So what we're going to need to do is actually cut these things. So I can place this cutter. I can place it right there if I want to, or place it right here. Either way is fine. We'll just place them right in there. And then when we go in here, we get this cool interface here where we need to design the block. So in order to get this one, we basically have to cut these in half first, right? So down here, we've got all these. Let me collapse that. We've got these configurations for size. We can move the block around. It's this cube, so it doesn't really matter which way we move it. But we can determine which type of slice we want to get, right? So you can slice it 4. It's obviously going to not do anything. We can slice it this way. We get kind of 3 and 1, which might be useful for certain shapes. But for now, we need to split this up. And then over here, it's going to tell you, you're getting this about 15 per minute, and then obviously you're doubling them when you come out, right? So it's 30 per minute coming out. We'll configure that, and we'll do the same thing over here. I could also copy and paste that stuff too. So there's quick copy options and just remake these. But now that that has been done, I will get these new cut blocks, so half the size. And then what we can do is we can take these and we can start manufacturing them. So what we can do here, I think we'll also split these up. Again, I don't know how efficient everything will be. I think this makes the most sense. But the reason why we're splitting them is, one, because we're getting twice as many as we put in. We're getting twice as many blocks out. But then these assemblers have 2 inputs. So you need to fit both inputs, because we need 2 items to assemble. If I only had 1 item coming in here, I would just get the 1 item. So now that we have this, we can simply kind of take it into our little drafting area here, and we just kind of stick them together. And there we go. We got our shape. We can move around. We can see that it is the shape that we have over here, right? Minus the line, obviously, because it's not pinned together yet. And then we can configure that, and we got this new module. And this new module will come right out over here. And that's our module 1 taken care of. And then we can go over here and we can say copy that, and we can throw that over there. We can adjust this as well, which is nice. We can throw that over this way, and now all of a sudden we're getting 2 of those. So that will configure that, and beauty. So we got the first shape that we need. Meanwhile, what we can do is we can update our production a little bit. We'll get some more miners. Yeah, 4 of these seems to be okay, I guess. It might be more efficient to do less. I really don't know. I don't care. I'm just gonna get a few things going, and then we'll figure out things as we move along. But we'll set up another instance like this. We'll throw it. I guess we want to throw this like here-ish, and then we're gonna add that in, and then we can either quick copy this, or we can grab it from our manufacturing bin there. And then we can, we've got enough. Yeah, we just need these 2 shapes. So probably what we can do is just copy this whole thing. I think we can grab an area too. So if we use the copy tool and just drag, yeah, I think we can just kind of drag and drop this in place like that. Very nice. Yeah, so now you're getting 4 of those elements. So that's perfect. And then we can kind of do the same thing over here, and we'll figure out the other shape using these ones, because I don't think there's any reason to worry too much about being overly efficient. We've got enough of these nodes everywhere that we should be okay, I think, to just kind of do it this way, and then we can always adjust later on if higher efficiencies come in. Yeah, we're gonna build you guys over here. You guys are gonna go over there. We're gonna stick another splitter, because this seems to be working pretty good. And then you guys are gonna connect out to that one. Nice. And now for this one, we need to make this shape. So we're going to start the same thing. So we're still going to do these guys because we do need to cut it. Right, so that's going to cut it into, oh my gosh, into this. And now the difference is here we need to cut it again. Right, because I don't think there's a better way. I don't think there's a more efficient way to do this at the moment, no. So what that means is we're going to cut this again, but we are going to get doubles. So I suppose we can... Did I leave enough space to do this? I guess we can do this, right? If you're wondering, there is an autosave. It doesn't show up on the screen, but every once in a while the screen will kind of freeze a little bit. That is the autosave feature. So just mind that. It's hopefully that's something that they'll fix later on. But once we get this guy in here, yeah, we can just kind of turn it and do another 2x2 cut, and then we got these guys. Yeah, perfect. And then we can just copy those all along. And then this gives us this shape. Fantastic. And then we can throw this guy in here. I can just throw it right over there. I don't need to leave tracks there. I can put them like right against each other, but I think it's visually it's more interesting just to be able to see it. There is also a day-night cycle. I don't think it does anything outside of visually. I'm actually just going to turn it off because it becomes hard to see for recording for folks. I'll keep it bright, but you can just change it up here and then it will just stay. So there's like dusk and dawn. I think actually dawn is probably easier to see. All right, so this guy now, pretty easy. We grab this one and we just drop it down. Grab that one. We also just drop it down and we just kind of glue them together. Bingo bango. We got our next module, and then we will just grab more of those bad boys, and then when they come out of here, they're going to look like that. Isn't that great? So nice. So nice. All right. So now we need to put our building. I'm just going to delete this. And we'll put our building somewhere over here. And the reason why I did multiples of these is I think, if memory serves me, this is like one of the more important parts to make. So it might be better to have more than one of them, right? And so we can have like one of each of these feed in to there. And the way we do that is we're just going to run this here. Like that. That's going to come out. And I think, yeah, I think we can kind of connect that in there. It's interesting enough, you can kind of naturally connect them like that, but you can't split them. So I don't know why we need to have a splitter per se. I kind of like the way that games like Alchemy Factory do it, where it's just all the track base and it just kind of evolves and understands how you want to do things there. But yeah, we'll send those two over there, and then we'll send these two over this way. The other thing I noticed too is it gets a little bit funky when you override like this, because you can kind of like override your own tracks really easily. But the one thing it does nicely is these little tunnels. So it automatically senses when you want to go under and tunnels for you. Yeah, but there are a couple of weird things in terms of like it overriding by accident. So I have played around with it and like accidentally like made a track go in the wrong direction by doing something like this. And then it kind of overrides the tracks instead of going underneath them or just stopping. So I don't know if that's intentional or if that's just kind of a miss in sort of the design philosophy there. But we'll grab this one now. Hopefully we've got enough space to get up here. And we will go that way. And then I'll go kind of weirdly that way. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we might be able to reuse these for something else after if there is enough quantity of them. So to be a little bit more efficient, maybe we'll do it that way. And then we'll leave this one going out this way. All right, so now we got these tracks kind of aligned. We need to tell this thing to pick it up. So we go over here and we can add cranes. We can add up to 4. I think you can upgrade that later on, but you can add into these and they will start picking up those little elements. And the cranes go at a certain level. I don't know if you can, I'm going to assume we can upgrade these things as well at some point later on. But for now, we are set at a speed of about 15 per minute or so, which is perfectly fine for now. So we'll grab that. We will grab that as well. And then these will start building. So they're going to start filling up and start building. Now they do need twice as many of these ones, but we should be producing twice as many of those as well because it's fewer blocks being used. And maybe that's something we should have thought about in our production field over here, but I think we're okay. Yeah, because you can see these ones are emptying out a little bit. So we might need more of those at some point. But I think we're fine to service these 2 buildings for now. Tech tree. There is a tech tree. There's also challenges, stuff like that too. So there's a tech tree here, and it's pretty hefty. You can't actually look at the whole thing all on one screen, but it goes on for quite a while. And the first thing that we're building, those modules we're building, are the tech points we're going to be using initially. So these little modules here, we're going to be using over here, and then we get like new versions of them. So we'll be working on that in a moment. There's also challenges. So similar to like shapes, I think does this as well. So to get like cosmetics, because we're building a city, so we can kind of dress up the city with the cosmetic elements. But you can challenge yourself to do all these different little shapes and supply them to a certain number, and you'll get some rewards as well. So another way to get some more research and XP and stuff like that, and then we get reward for these cosmetic items as well. And then over here is our general delivery. So we get experience for delivering all these different units as they get more complex, and as well as progression. This is just kind of everything that you've done. So these are all the possible shapes, it looks like, that are available. And you see some of these are going to get colored later on as well. And there's a bunch that are still hidden. This is just a demo, so it's not the full game as well. So there's going to be more than that. All right. So the cool thing is, as you see these ones built, they're actually using those pieces to build the tower, which is a really nice little effect that they do on here. So you can actually see them being lifted up, and then a few seconds later, they plop in place. I love that animation. It's really nice. All right. So this one should be just getting close. Yeah, we're just waiting for a few more of the long ones here. We could increase that by putting another crane here if we wanted to. I don't believe there is there like a speed in here? No, it's just a pause. There's a push pause. I don't know if you would ever need a push pause because nothing's really going to break. You can delete stuff. There's no like concern for anything. What might be useful for this one is a speed up button. I'm not a big fan of speed up buttons because, if you're speeding up the game, there's maybe just make things run faster or be quicker to do. But early game, yeah, there's a little bit of wait time while your first buildings construct. But this one's done now. So now this one's done, we can assign it to a harvester pad. So this harvester pad we can probably put down there. I did kill the tree, but we can regrow the trees, so it's okay. We can throw a tree down there and add the tree in there. And so what these do, these basically harvest. They're called harvesters. I don't know why they're called harvesters, but they go into the buildings basically and grab the items. So this one is going to make basic cores. So now that it's up and running, it's using the same shapes to make basic cores. And it's using the same shapes to upgrade and do all that stuff. And you can also set like auto upgrades. So there's a few little things there. But basically, we're going to link this here. And we can also, I think, link it to, I can link it to 2 buildings. So I can link it both to these buildings. That's going to get us our first item. We've got 2 drones. So as these ones are building out, these little flags here, they're going to fill up our resources over here. It can hold 240, and then we'll start using that for something else. Next, we need to now build the basic bot assembly. So you can see the basic bot assembly takes 8 basic cores and makes it into a robot, a little bot. That's not what we use to create the building, though. You'll see it has a couple of things that we need to create. So again, I'm just going to throw one down, and then we'll probably like move it after. But it allows me to pin these elements here. So we'll examine that one. We'll pin all of those in there. We'll just get rid of this for now because I don't know where we're going to put it. But then the game starts getting a little more interesting here. So this one is just another shape. I think we're actually already making those. Oh no, it's like a double of this, right? So it's a 4 by 8, a 1 by 4 by 8, which is like this cut in half. So that's again why I said I would make it like this, because we might be able to either take these or we can make a new batch over there. It really depends on availability. It feels like we have enough of everything here, so maybe we'll just kind of keep using those. I don't know. We'll see. The other one gets interesting, though, because then we start interacting with colors. So again, it's the exact same shape as this one. It's just black. It's just we just need to dye it. So again, we could just use these ones because we seem to have enough already. I hit escape by chance. But yeah, we could just divide these out because I believe it's just a 4 by 8, right? Because this is configuring into... These are a 4 by 8 by 2, right? So this is a 4 by 8 by 2, and we need a 4 by 8 by 1. So we just need to slice this in half, and then we've got the new shape. So all I need to do to make this stuff is grab a cutter, throw it over there, throw a splitter at the end of it, and we can see a couple of tracks here if we want to, and then when we go into splitter, we just cut this by 1. And there's our new shape, if I'm not mistaken. New module created. Yeah, so there we go. That's this. Easy, easy, easy. The other one is also super easy, and we actually have 2 of these, so we could grab another one over here-ish, and we'll move this stuff to come out this way so that we can also take advantage of this one, because why not? Put another splitter over here, and then over there we do the exact same one. And yeah, I can just cut that. Why wouldn't it cut? Oh, okay, it was just being a little bit of a buggy. That's fine. All right, and now we've got all of those, which is fantastic. And then over here, what we can do is just grab this monotoner, and we throw that down, and we can click a switch here right now to set the black, and I can set it to white if I want to. And oh, I hit escape again by accident, but this is full of ink. So it's just like a printer. It's just gonna like color these black, and there's our new item. That's this guy over here. So why do I keep hitting escape button? All right, we're going to do the same thing over here. We might as well, and then we can decide later on if we want to expand upon that. I don't know. It seems like we have enough volume from this to feed all of these. I don't know if we have enough to feed 2 robotics, but we definitely have enough for 1. So let's get the 1 built, and then we'll see how that goes. Right? Or should I do 2? I don't know. Maybe we can do 2. We can probably do 2. Although this needs twice. Yeah, let's just do 1 for now. Let's just do 1. We'll put it over here. And do I even need to split this? Does it slow us down at all by not splitting it? I really don't know. I guess we get too complicated here. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't matter too much if it's being split out of here. Yeah, I think it doesn't matter too much. So we'll just get those going. We do need to send this over here as well, because that's going to be needed. And then we're going to get these ones going over this way. And we're tunneling around trees. Very nice. And then, yeah, I think we're more or less good. Actually, we're not so good. I'm going to delete this. Oh, I deleted the tree. I didn't mean to delete the tree. But the reason why I'm doing that is just so that I can do this instead. And then, no, we don't want that in there. It's definitely not what we wanted, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. We are going to send This one over here, probably not super efficient, but yeah, whatever. It's fine. And then we're simply going to just add cranes over there. Anyways, we're just checking out the game, right? So we don't need to be incredibly efficient. But what we do need to do is be able to pick up these guys. So I do need to delete this a little bit here. This is going to have to come like there. And then that can go this way like that. That way we can grab a crane over here. So the cranes can go like one space out, which is good. So that should get it everything it needs. It doesn't need these right now, but it will later on. So that's fine. So this guy is going to get built shortly. And yeah, you can see it getting configured here and built so the actual blocks go in place. Yeah, it's actually really clever. I do like the animation quite a bit. So we'll wait a moment while that's going in. I think we can go ahead and look at the next building as well. And these buildings are all like categorized by color. So there's gray, blue, and yellow, and they'll have different bonuses that we're going to be able to unlock in the tree as well. But the last one we need right now is going to be this basic processing plant. So this also takes a course, but then it takes a couple of more unique shapes to build out. So before we take up space there, let's put it over here. And yeah, we've got these ones done. Let's pin these ones. And you can check these ones out. They're a little bit different. So here's a 4x4. So it's taking these black ones that we're making, but also the original white ones that we had over here. And it's combining those together. So we might have an overflow of the black ones over here that we can use, or maybe we can use this whole strip here instead of sending it in there. I don't know. Doesn't matter too much. And then some white ones here. So I think we'll get a new system going over there to make those. And then this other one is a little more complex, but yeah, it's black and white, but mostly black, right? So we need what is that? 4x8, 6x8 on black, and only 2 on the white ones, right? So we'll split stuff up accordingly to do that. But I think we're kind of making the same basic form initially, right? So I hit escape again. All right. So I think what we can do is we'll head over here. We'll get some new miners going on over here. What's the best way to configure this? I don't know if 3 will be enough to do what we did before. 4 seems right to me. It's just a nice, clean, even number. So we'll configure kind of 4 or so at a time, maybe something like that. We left one. Why did I leave one? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So here we come out. Yeah, let's just do 5. That's fine. So we got one that's coming out there. We got another one that will come out over there. Got, oh, this is where I mess things up a little bit. That's okay. We'll get this one to come out this way, I guess. No big deal. Okay. So there is our configuration. We'll get them all to come out this way. And then, yeah, it should be fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm sure people will be yelling at me, it's not the most efficient shape. It needs to be more shapely. All right, so we'll split those. We definitely have enough to split. And then we got to cut them. So we'll set up a cutter. And then the first cut is going to be, as soon as this comes in, hello, did I not connect it? It's definitely connected. Why are you X? Oh, I didn't burn them. I need to, yeah, I missed a step here. We need to do these guys first, right? So we need a little bit more space here. We need to get these spaced out a bit more. Let me kind of get them into the corner over here so as to maximize our space a little bit better. But these guys go like that. And then the splitters go in like so. And then we just move these tracks to go into these spots like that. All right, yeah, everything works pretty well. Everything snaps together nicely. I guess I haven't talked much about the graphics, but they're all like sharp and interesting to look at. Everything kind of stands out pretty well. Okay, so these are now there. Now we do cutters. So now we do a cutter, and this cutter is going to, eventually it should fill. Hello? Where's the block? Where is the block? I'm not sure why this is not getting a block. I'm just going to delete it and try again. There we go. Okay, now we're getting a block. We're going to split that. Let me take a look here. What's going to be easier? So obviously I can make these shapes doing 2 cuts, and then these ones need to be cut in additional time, right? So that they're flat. Because basically we're going to make a bunch of 2x1s, which we could do. We can do that in fewer cuts by doing it like this and getting 4. So I think, yeah, well, here we'll work on this shape. And then on the other side, we'll work on a different shape, right? So if we throw that in there, yeah, we're gonna need all of these things a little bit. We'll get 3. Hopefully that's enough. And then these are going to make double. So yeah, I guess splitting it doesn't matter that much, I guess, at the moment. So we will, let me just configure one here. We're gonna get this one in, and then we're gonna kind of drop it that way, and then cut it by 2 again. Yeah, and then copy that over. So now we got our long squares, and now we can put a production one right there, and then we can also split this one out like this and put a production there. This one will run a little bit less efficiently, but I don't think it's going to matter that much. All right, so we throw these ones in here, we throw that one in there, configure that. And then this one, we throw that in here, we throw that in here, configure that. And then we take some of these guys and we make the black, and some of them we don't. So I think the way we can kind of balance this out again is by splitting this. And then we can make these ones black and these ones black. Or should we split both? I don't know. We're gonna get more whites this way. Well, this one's making fewer. Yeah, this is probably the best way to do it, right? This one will be white, this one will be white, because this one's gonna make slower. It's less efficient, and then these ones are gonna make more, because this is slightly more efficient. Yeah, so that's gonna turn black, and then, yeah, we've got the white ones coming out there, white ones coming out there. The white one is going to go this way. Black one is going to go this way. White one is going to go underneath. They're going to meet here. And then the black one's going to come here. And then we build this guy over there. Yeah, that should work. And then these guys are going to go together. So now we got that shape. Easy. All right, so a little more complex, but not too bad. Meanwhile, over here, we're going to cut these guys by 1s. Right, so we've got this one. Can get rid of that. Oh, I didn't mean to get rid of both. We want to get this one. So this one's a bunch of flat pieces with 2/3 of them colored up. So these two can be colored, and these ones can be not colored. which should be fine. Does it make sense to color them first? It might, right? If we're going to do that, because yeah, we need, that makes sense. So if we go into the monocolor, we'll just monocolor those. This one I didn't need to take away. We'll still slice that one there. And then these ones will slice after they get colored. So this one gets sliced in ones. And then this one gets sliced in ones. And this one also gets sliced in ones. Excellent. And then we need to take one of these guys and need to slice it again. All right, so this one now flips that way, gets sliced by 2. That's going to make this piece here. And you as well can just get the same treatment. Get sliced by 2. And then we throw manufacture right at the end of this guy. And we just combine those as soon as it's being made. There we go. And that gets us our little end piece here. Excellent. We're probably going to have to delete these trees. They're a little bit in the way, unfortunately. We'll plant some new ones, don't worry. All right. And then this guy, what am I making here? So that's the 4. So this guy can be split as well, because that's the 4x4s, and then they go into a manufacturer like that, and then these guys just get glued together like so. Right? Does this all make sense so far? I think it makes sense. All right, so there's our 2 bits eventually. And I should have configured this the other way around, I realize now, because now I'm going to have to like split paths a little bit here. So this guy's making that. This guy is going to split this way. So probably would have made sense more be this one should be black and that one should be white, and then the same configuration. That way these ones can be glued together. Yeah, let's do that. Can I do that without making... No, I think I have to delete all of that. But shouldn't be too much of a problem here. We'll just do that. We will reconfigure that to be black. We will copy this over there. We will add this guy over there. And now this is making those ones. And then, yeah, then manufacturers here. And then manufacturers there, right? So this guy, oh no, this needs cutters. Yeah, that needs cutters. This one doesn't. So this one, oh, I didn't mean to delete that. This one over here we can configure to make the big piece. And then this one here needs to be the same as this. And then that's going to be the same as that, right? So that when these come out, we should have 2 identical shape pieces there. Yeah, okay, perfect. And then we can throw this guy right in there. And then this guy is going to make this part of it. So we grab this, we rotate, we rotate that way. And then we connect those. So we got this half, configure that. And then this guy is going to come out like this and go right in there. And then we get another constructor in there. And then we wait for our pieces to arrive. And then we slap those 2 together. Fantastic. New module completed. And that's going to allow me to build these guys. So we'll just kind of bring these guys over this way. And then our building over here, yeah, we're going to demolish that. This guy, oh, I didn't mean to demolish that. My goodness gracious. The demolish button is still on every time. I gotta redo this now. This is supposed to be black and white like this. I don't think it matters what size it's on. All right, so that's the stuff we need over there. We'll put our new building like right in here. All right, is that aligned with that stuff? Yeah, I think so. And then we simply make this come out this way. And we have a crane that's going to grab those later on. And then we have this guy come over here, and this one going to come like over here. I don't even know, I don't really even need to make it that long, but that's fine. Yeah, just get rid of that. And then you are going, no, 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 I don't want to demolish. I don't want to demolish. Why are you demolishing everything? All right, we had a crane there. And now, yeah, now we're building this, right? Yeah, so this is going to need these ones later. Doesn't need them yet, but it will shortly. Can get rid of this pin over here, and we can watch our construction proceed. Okay, so while that guy's building, I realize we haven't actually attached a hanger to this one. So we can do that real easy. Just throw that in there. We'll attach drones. I don't know if there's any advantage attaching two drones. No. Doesn't look like it, but that one can just start going ahead and delivering directly into there, and then we make these little cute little robot helpers with their little faces. It's too funny. So that will fulfill our first goal here, our lower one of 61. And then this guy here is going to make the item we need next, which I'm gonna bulldoze some trees. Terrible, terrible. Ooh, nice. We got a rank up for delivering our first robot, which is fantastic, and some experience there. Amazing. But the last thing we need in this chain is this thing called a data center. So we throw a data center down. Actually, we need to throw one of these guys down first, and that's going to connect to you. And then our little data center is going to connect directly there, and then we can configure this to make our little gray dashboards. And then you can just, yeah, you can just connect into this for now. It's fine. Fantastic. So once this is done in a few seconds here, a couple more deliveries going, we definitely aren't making enough of these blocks. So in the future, we might want to grab some of these extra ones that are happening over here. We can always recolor these too, so won't be too bad an idea. But now that this is built, it's going to start manufacturing using these guys and some of these guys as well. So yeah, we're definitely going to probably want to enhance that later on. If we can, we probably can even take some of these blocks and just put some more furnaces down here to make that shape. That's a very simple shape to make. If we wanted to, no big deal. But this guy is going to make, using basic cores, is going to make these gray processors, and the gray processors are going to get flown over here and then immediately get shipped into here. It's just waiting for that to process. So let's give it a moment and we'll watch our first ones come off the line here. So it's made 2. And now it's been filled in here, and this guy's going to take a moment to make our little world in a box. And we'll watch that ship out across here. And I love how like pixelated the stuff is when you get close to it. Like it's actually like pixel graphics on a lot of this stuff, and it doesn't look like it from a range. But that's in there now, and we got more coming, so that's being produced. And we can obviously make this more efficient and build more stuff out. But what's cool later on is we're going to be able to upgrade these guys. So if I go into my tech tree over here, I will start accumulating these little cubes here. And I think our first option here is, where is it? Yeah, it's over here. So we can build second floor. So we can just unlock that. And then we can come over here. And as soon as we have enough available production here, we can start upgrading these buildings, and that will increase their production. So it'll go plus one in production, which is great. So now we got that, we can upgrade that. And then this switches to being in build mode. So again, it's taking the exact same resources from before. I don't know if that will change when we get to like higher levels. It might need new resources. I have no idea. I haven't gotten progress that far in yet. But for the first level, it's going to be this, and there's going to be more upgrades to get even higher levels. But these are basically going to create an interesting little city, basically, a little futuristic city of drones flying around, and upgrades galore. And we'll move on to new islands now that we've passed the first test. You can see we can buy a new island, and we'll be able to get access to like new colors and things like that. And we'll also be able to bridge across these spaces. So very cool little game. Do enjoy it. Very super casual, chill little factory automation city builder. It's got a demo out for Steam next fest, so check it out yourselves if you'd like to try it out. This is a good opportunity to do so. Let me know down in the comments if you got a chance to it and what you thought about it. And thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to also like and subscribe. Join if you want to get special early access to some of these videos. There'll also be some videos on the members channel that do not make it to the public eye because maybe they are a little bit more private. It's nothing special. It's just, yeah, some other play tests and games like that that I didn't think would serve well to the full public view. So I keep them a little bit more hidden, but you're welcome to check them out by clicking that join button. Thanks as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.